about a global economy. The UK and the trajectory that the UK is on. Oh, go on.
It's not great. I mean, the growth rate has been very, very disappointing for a number of years now. Productivity, which is the kind of secret source of economic progress, has been very, very weak indeed. And now the UK is trying to tackle an inflation problem that, frankly, the Bank of England and the UK authorities in general just didn't see coming. So it's a messy situation.
Okay, and you would expect a higher policy rate from the Bank of England?
Absolutely. In fact, the bank, in one sense, has admitted this now, because it's now saying that the model it was using to try and forecast inflation is basically on the blink. It's not working very well. And they've admitted that there are more in the way of what they would describe as second-round effects. So you have prices of goods, prices of services going on, but now you're seeing wages rising quite rapidly.
But that's it. But to a certain extent, those second-round effects were exactly what they said they wanted to avoid when they started the monetary tightening too late.
Absolutely. I mean, they argued that their policies were credible and therefore there would not be any second-round effects. But as it turned out, the more that headline inflation was higher, the more that those second-round effects began to come through.
Yesterday on this programme, we were talking about Germany being in recession, maybe technical recession, but that will spill over. And yet, we have this contradiction, Stephen, between the IMF, the ECB, the BOE, saying there won't be a recession, but the numbers are not good. How do we square that?
Oh, well, everyone always says there won't be a recession until there is one. People don't like forecasting. Although, interestingly, Jeremy Hunt, the Chancellor of the Exchequer in the UK, did say today that he would be happy, well, not happy, but he said he would accept a recession as a price worth paying, effectively, for getting inflation down back to 2%. So I think there is the beginnings of a discussion about how much of an output loss there has to be to try and deal with the inflation problem.
Here in the UK, it is difficult to overstate the pain for people who've seen their mortgages double. I mean, I have a mortgage in England, and it is literally doubled.
Absolutely.
And there's more to come. Do they need to get inflation down to 2%? Can't we just simply say, well, 3% close enough, let's all go home and have a cup of tea?
But the problem with saying 3% is close enough is that if you go to 3%, people will say, well, you raise your inflation target from 2% to 3%. The next time you have a problem, it'll be raised from 3% to 4%. So you begin to lose, if you like, the underlying credibility of the policy. I also think over a very long period of time, once you allow inflation back into the system, inflation is a grossly unfair process. It creates winners and losers in terms of borrowers and lenders and so on. It's a messy situation which is socially divisive.
But then the same question to you about the UK, that we talked about with the US. Why? I mean, the Bank of England's done however much it is, 450% basis points. Yep. Why is it not bringing inflation down quicker?
Well, one reason is lags. Monetary policy has changed this year. It has an effect on inflation a year or 2 years down the road. But the second reason is that because you're starting from such a low level of interest rates fighting deflation, you may have to raise rates more than you were originally anticipating. I think that's been one of the big problems that economists have had in forecasting where interest rates are going to go, because effectively inflation itself has come in higher and higher than expected, and therefore interest rates themselves have had to be higher.
Think carefully how you answer this.
I shall try.
It's a Friday night.
Yes.
If we look at Europe, the US, the developed nations, are we in deep trouble?
Well, things could be worse, obviously. I think that's the easy way to answer it. But I don't think we're where we would like to be. You want to have flourishing economic growth and you want to have low inflation. We've actually got stagnant economic growth and high inflation, which is exactly where you don't want to be.
Good to see you. Thank you, sir,
Thank you
for joining us. Now,